Ever wondered why Linda Ronstadt chose to remain single throughout her life? In this exploration, we will reveal the surprising insights that have left fans both shocked and concerned as she shares her reasons for never marrying. The captivating voice behind timeless classics like Blue Bayou and You're No Good has always been an intriguing figure, with her personal life largely cloaked in mystery. Her journey is marked by remarkable achievements alongside a profound sense of solitude. To truly grasp Linda's views on marriage, it is crucial to delve into her upbringing. Her early years painted a complex picture filled with diverse influences and personal decisions that significantly impacted her life's path. The values instilled in her during childhood, along with her experiences in the music industry, shaped her perspective on relationships. As she navigated fame, the pressures and expectations surrounding marriage became increasingly apparent, leading her to prioritize her independence and career over traditional commitments. It was in 1946, in Tucson, Arizona, that Linda Ronstadt was born into a family that thrived on music and cultural richness. Her father, Gilbert Ronstadt, brought a vivid connection to Mexican heritage, and her mother, Ruth Mary Copeman Ronstadt, brought roots steeped in a European-American background. Together, they created a harmonious family environment where music played a central role. Linda's father was not just a businessman, but an aficionado of traditional Mexican songs, often singing and sharing melodies that filled their home with vibrance. He passed down this appreciation for Mexican culture and its music, which profoundly influenced young Linda's imagination and artistic curiosity. Her mother's contributions were equally significant. A homemaker by choice, but creative at heart, she played the ukulele and introduced her children to an array of American and European music. This included genres like folk and classical tunes from Gilbert and Sullivan operettas, which would find echoes in Linda's diverse musical journey later in life. The home Linda grew up in also featured a 10-acre ranch. It provided space for free-spirited childhood adventures, while the surrounding Sonoran desert landscape served as a backdrop that simultaneously grounded her in her southwestern roots and fueled her artistic wonder. Linda was the third of 4 siblings, and together, the Ronstadt children were encouraged to embrace music as both a medium of self-expression and as a legacy of their family heritage. Her father's prize 1898 Martin guitar was one of the first musical instruments she learned on, strumming with curiosity as her father guided her through chords and techniques. The familial atmosphere of cultural fusion and creativity nurtured Linda's innate talents from an early age. As a teenager, she expanded her musicality by exploring other genres and influences. Tucson itself was a melting pot of cultures, heavily influenced by its proximity to Mexico. It was common for Linda and her siblings to hear mariachi songs alongside American rock and country music on the radio. This cocktail of influences laid a rich foundation that would later define Linda's career as an artist known for her ability to cross seamlessly between genres. Linda Ronstadt's early life was not merely about exposure to music, but about immersion in a home that valued expression, diversity, and cultural pride. Every note sung, every chord played on the guitar, felt like a bridge between generations of Ronstadts and the multicultural identity they celebrated. Gilbert Ronstadt, Linda Ronstadt's father, played a significant role in shaping her musical journey. As a prosperous machinery merchant, he had a stable and successful career, but it was his deep appreciation for traditional Mexican music that left a lasting impact on Linda and her siblings. Growing up in a household where rancheras and citos were cherished, Linda was immersed in the rich sounds and cultural heritage of her family's roots. This exposure to diverse musical styles fostered a love for music that would later define her career. Gilbert's passion for these traditional genres not only influenced Linda's musical tastes, but also instilled in her a sense of pride in her heritage. The vibrant melodies and heartfelt lyrics of rancheras resonated with her, creating a foundation for her own artistic expression. As she ventured into her own music career, the sounds of her childhood remained a vital part of her identity, reflecting the deep connection she had with her father's influence and the cultural legacy he passed down to her. Born into a household where music played a natural and essential role, Linda Ronstadt's early influences could be traced seamlessly to the nurturing presence of her mother, Ruth Ronstadt. Ruth was not only a homemaker, she carried within her a profound love for opera and a penchant for immersing her children in its expressive depths. In their Tucson home, Ruth's passion for classical arias and operatic crescendos introduced Linda to a broader spectrum of sound and feeling, creating an early emotional lexicon that would define her later as one of the most versatile singers. The environment of Tucson itself, with its vast arid landscapes and open skies, mirrored the expansiveness of Linda's artistic aspirations. These natural surroundings, full of deserts that seemed to stretch endlessly, inspired a soulful influence that could be felt in her vocal delivery years later. Her artistic journey did not bloom in isolation. Music was a communal and family-driven activity, with Linda often performing alongside her siblings in local venues. Their familial collaborations were more than just rehearsals. They were moments of shared creativity, fostering her ability to connect music with emotion. It all began with the captivating melodies of the Stone Pawnees, the folk rock trio that introduced Linda Ronstadt's voice to the world. In 1967, their breakthrough hit, Different Drum, penned by Michael Nesmith, became an anthem of individuality and emotional authenticity. Although the song was initially rejected by the group's other members, the producers seized an opportunity to spotlight Linda's vocals, transforming it into a distinctive performance that would define her path. With its innovative blend of folk elements and orchestral arrangements, the track reached remarkable heights on the charts, peaking at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. The Stone Pawnees carved their name into the California folk circuit during an era when music genres were beginning to blur and expand. While the band initially garnered modest recognition, the release of Different Drum elevated their presence and set Linda apart as a vocalist with unmatched power and nuance. Her delivery on this track captured a perfect balance of wistful longing and assertive independence, qualities that resonated deeply with listeners. It became evident that her unique abilities extended far beyond the band's framework. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of Linda's evolution as a pioneer in the music industry. Although she continued with the Stone Pawnees briefly, the trajectory of her career soon veered towards solo stardom. From this foundation, she embraced a fearless journey through an exceptional range of genres that included country, rock, opera, and traditional Mexican music. Her capacity to weave through artistic boundaries set her apart as a true innovator. Different Drum remains a defining example of Linda's ability to interpret a song with both emotional depth and technical mastery. Although the song was credited to the Stone Pawnees, its success largely revolved around Linda's solo vocal performance. The track has since been celebrated as a milestone not just for the band, but also as an early indication of her immense potential as a solo artist. Linda Ronstadt's musical journey is a seamless narrative of her unparalleled ability to traverse genres. Beginning in the late 1960s, Ronstadt embraced country and folk with a sincerity and passion that brought her unique voice to the forefront. Her 1969 album, Hand-Sewn, Homegrown, is hailed as one of the first country rock albums by a solo female artist. Throughout the decades, her exploration of rock, pop, and lounge showcased a remarkable capacity to adapt and redefine musical styles. However, her foray into singing in Spanish through Canciones de Mi Padre stands as a shining gem in her artistic crown. With this 1987 masterpiece, which became the top-selling non-English language album in U.S. history, Linda brought Mexican music traditions into the global spotlight, showcasing her cultural heritage while further emphasizing her versatility and authenticity. Her journey continues to be celebrated, reflecting her incredible talent and enduring legacy. After venturing into the music scene as a solo artist, Linda Ronstadt achieved her first major milestone with the release of Hand-Sewn Homegrown in 1969, celebrated as the first alternative country album created by a woman. This groundbreaking record blended elements of folk, country, and rock, establishing her as a pioneer in blurring genre boundaries. Her ability to navigate multiple musical traditions laid the foundation for her versatile career, leading to the kind of genre-crossing success that set her apart in her era. With a powerful voice and distinct interpretation, she brought attention to a form of expression that resonated deeply within the roots of American music. By the mid-1970s, Ronstadt's career soared to new heights, reaffirming her artistry with the release of Heart Like a Wheel in 1974. The album marked a definitive moment in her career, showcasing her ability to tap into both commercial success and critical acclaim. It featured iconic tracks that displayed her emotional depth and vocal range, allowing her to make an indelible mark in the music industry. The success of this album led to her recognition as one of the most influential female artists of her time, bringing her music to the forefront of the charts in a way that few others had achieved before. Linda's remarkable ability to adapt and transform continued with Simple Dreams, released in 1977, an album that further cemented her position at the height of popularity in the United States. With a polished production and engaging track selection, the album demonstrated her unique knack for making classic songs her own. Simple Dreams delivered a string of radio hits that propelled her music into widespread appeal, while maintaining the soul and artistic integrity that her fans had come to admire. It was this balance between commercial viability and authenticity that kept her at the top of the charts during this period. In 1978, Ronstadt reached another career-defining moment with Living in the USA. This record reinforced her unparalleled ability to remain relevant in a competitive music industry, as it continued her streak of top-charting albums. It reflected her dynamic personality and connection to the cultural shifts of the time, ensuring her presence in the ever-evolving sphere of American music. With this album, she demonstrated that her artistry extended beyond vocal talent, further solidifying her place as a versatile and refreshing force in pop, rock, and country. It was through these albums, Heart Like a Wheel, Simple Dreams, and Living in the USA, that Linda Ronstadt shaped her legacy during the peak of her career. These records not only signify her ability to blend genres seamlessly, but also underscore her status as a trailblazer in an industry that was often slow to embrace women as creative powerhouses. Her ability to consistently deliver chart-topping records in diverse styles proves the significance of her contributions to music as a richly gifted and genuine artist. She not only conquered stages but also broke barriers in stadiums and pavilions, spaces typically reserved for male artists. Linda Ronstadt's powerful voice and dynamic stage presence made her a standout performer in a male-dominated industry. Her ability to cross genres, from rock to country to pop, showcased her versatility and appealed to a wide audience. As she filled large venues, she not only entertained but also inspired countless women in music, proving that they could achieve the same level of success as their male counterparts. This groundbreaking achievement earned her the titles of the Queen of Rock and the First Lady of Rock. Her influence extended beyond her music. She paved the way for future female artists to take center stage and claim their rightful place in the industry. With her fearless approach and undeniable talent, she changed the landscape of rock music, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to resonate today. The 1970s and 80s were decades of massive success for Linda Ronstadt, as she emerged as a leading force in the music industry. However, behind the glitz of her superstardom lay a reality shaped by obstacles and challenges, largely driven by the sexism pervasive in a male-dominated rock scene. While loved by audiences for her versatile voice and performances, Linda had to prove her worth repeatedly in an industry that was reluctant to take female artists seriously. During this time, the music business was a setting where men primarily held power, whether as producers, executives, or even performers. Women artists, especially those who reached for big stages like Ronstadt did, were often reduced to mere figures of curiosity or objectification. It wasn't uncommon for industry gatekeepers to undermine their abilities or manipulate their artistic visions. Yet, Linda carved out her own space, breaking stereotypes not just with her range of talent, but also with her steadfast determination. Her success was not handed to her. It was earned through countless hours of hard work, grit, and boundary pushing. She fought against a culture that often downplayed women's contributions. For Linda, every performance, album, and collaboration became a statement of affirmation, proving that she deserved her spot among music's legends. Despite massive commercial hits like her famous album Heart Like a Wheel, her fights extended beyond the studio. She took control over her career choices, experimenting in genres like jazz, opera, country, and traditional Mexican music, defying expectations that wanted to box her into a single category. Above all, Linda Ronstadt understood the unkind duality of her position, celebrated on the one hand, but challenged on the other by the systemic inequalities ingrained in the business. Her career became an example for other women seeking to break into the industry, not just for her musical talent, but for her courage in confronting a culture that often sought to sideline women and diminish their voices. This was the backdrop against which Ronstadt's brilliance shined brighter, one in which she not only persisted but thrived, reshaping the narratives for women in music. Through the years, Linda Ronstadt's career cast an undeniable radiance, yet the resounding applause often masked a reality far weightier. She would describe her experience with isolation in terms so profound that it seemed as though language itself lacked the terms to define it adequately. Life on the road became an overwhelming mirror, reflecting the type of solitude that defied traditional understanding. The vividly glamorous spotlight of global fame contrasted starkly with private moments that felt deeply hollow. Though she was acclaimed for bringing emotional resonance into her music, the artist herself wrestled with a kind of palpable emptiness that no hit single could dismantle. Traversing tour dates and studio sessions, fame paradoxically exposed her to self-doubt. Close friends recall instances where whispers or audience murmurs during concerts fed a creeping insecurity within her. Despite the crowd's admiration, Ronstadt at times imagined or feared that these voices carried harsh critiques rather than praise of her talent. Her ability to project musical mastery from stage to stage was inseparable from an ingrained vulnerability beneath the surface. Indeed, doubt occasionally shook her confidence in ways that meshed intimately with her creative process. Although she achieved immense longevity in a highly competitive industry, Ronstadt would privately express moments when she questioned if her skill matched her audience's expectations. The tension between her external triumphs and inner worries left traces of duality difficult to reconcile. Fame magnified this complexity, imposing shadows of loneliness even as her music bridged connections for millions. Even though she brought powerful narratives to life through her voice, Ronstadt endured inner battles that continuously reshaped her perspective on what it meant to be both an artist and a person. Her revelations of isolation painted a vivid picture of a superstar's fight against doubts that were all too human, yet uniquely heavy in their magnitude. She spoke poignantly of nights when the applause would fade, and the silence around her brought a unique ache, one unfamiliar to those outside her world. Her candor about these emotional valleys revealed the paradoxical cost of immense talent and public acclaim. In a 2019 documentary, insights from Linda Ronstadt's former manager revealed the deep-seated worries she faced during her performances. She often felt anxious when she noticed people whispering in the audience, fearing they were saying negative things about her singing. This anxiety highlighted the pressure she felt as a performer, despite her immense talent and success. In an interview, Linda opened up about her journey as a singer, admitting that she did not always feel confident in her abilities. It took her considerable time to reach a point where she could set aside her insecurities and fully immerse herself in the music. This struggle is relatable to many artists who grapple with self-doubt, even when they are celebrated by fans. Linda's experience serves as a reminder that, behind the glamour of stardom, there can be personal challenges that artists must overcome to connect with their art and their audience. Whenever Linda Ronstadt stepped onto the stage, it was as if she entered a separate world, one where the barriers of self-doubt crumbled in the face of music's overwhelming power. Music was her sanctuary, a place where insecurities melted away, leaving only pure expression in its wake. Yet, despite this profound connection to her art, there was an aspect of performing that unsettled her deeply. She wrestled with the peculiar unease of seeing familiar faces in the audience during her concerts. It was not a matter of disliking her friends or loved ones. Instead, it was as though their presence introduced an invisible thread of tension, a reminder of the overlap between the personal and the public. This paradox shaped her experience on stage, even dictating her preferences during live performances. While many performers might draw energy and comfort from a recognizable smile or a supportive face in the crowd, Linda found herself pulling away from such a dynamic. Seeing those she knew in the audience made her hyper-aware of herself, disrupting the delicate balance of connection she shared with her music. She would often prefer that the crowd remain an anonymous tapestry of faces, allowing her to dissolve fully into the flow of her performance. The simplicity of focusing solely on the melodies and lyrics without outside distractions was what gave her the freedom to deliver such unforgettable renditions night after night. This detachment from familiar gazes was not born out of indifference, but rather a quest to maintain the magic of that inexplicable bond she shared with her songs. For her, the performance was not about others, but about channeling something greater than herself. Linda struggled to understand why people would come to see her perform in the first place. There was always a mystery in it for her, a sense of disbelief that anyone would choose to spend their evening watching her. It wasn't false modesty or pretense. It was a genuine inability to reconcile the fact that her voice, her gift, brought people together in masses. To Linda, singing was as natural and private as breathing, something she did because she had to, not because she sought an audience. So, the act of people gathering to experience her art, of all things, carried with it a weight of puzzlement. Over time, her disconnection from the spectacle of fame became a defining characteristic of her personality. Even in moments of great success, Linda's way of interacting with fame remained complicated. For someone so deeply connected to her craft, the external acknowledgement of her talents felt out of place. When she sang, it wasn't about showing off or achieving accolades. It was about surrendering to a purpose that felt both personal and universal. And yet, night after night, audiences continued to show up, drawn by her extraordinary ability to bridge emotion and melody through her singular voice. The duality of being celebrated for something so intimate while simultaneously yearning for a sense of invisibility laid the foundation for her mesmerizing, but sometimes enigmatic stage presence. The life of a public figure, especially one as prominent as Linda Ronstadt, comes with unique challenges that shape personal and professional existence. Constant scrutiny made it especially difficult for her to truly observe and understand others in the way one might in a private life. Every gesture, choice, and interaction seemed to carry public weight. This left her in a state of perpetual self-awareness, which complicated how she navigated her human connections. Relationships became puzzling on the road, where tours dictated not only her schedule, but her emotional landscape. Endless hours on the tour bus, while fostering camaraderie with her band, emphasized isolation from a broader sense of normalcy. Her interactions were often defined by fleeting moments rather than deep, lasting connections, partly because of the distance that such a life imposed. While other people formed day-to-day routines full of familiar faces and spaces, Linda existed in a realm where hotel rooms and concert venues were recurring backdrops. The absence of this regularity made it challenging to anchor her relationships to anything solid. The journey on the bus wasn't just geographical, it was also deeply personal. The extensive time spent on the road with her band offered moments of laughter, shared stories, and creative collaboration. But even amidst that closeness, the regular disruption of touring kept the bonds lightweight. Unlike the rooted relationships of those who are able to settle in one location or live out quieter lives, the friendships and love that Ronstadt cultivated were often shaped by themes of displacement. The profound human need for steadiness remained elusive as a whirlwind propelled her from one venue to the next, leaving her personal life an intricate and often unsolvable part of the bigger picture. Even as she grew in fame, the route to personal fulfillment remained thorny. The media and public's fixation on every relationship she ventured into amplified the pressure to uphold appearances or meet certain expectations. Reading about fabricated or exaggerated details concerning her private life further distanced her reality from the narrative spun about her. On the tour bus, the dissonance between those tales and her true self often made her laugh, yet it underscored how much of her life belonged to others' imaginations rather than her own narrative. Ultimately, the demands of being a public figure intertwined with a bus-bound existence formed a peculiar dichotomy of closeness and detachment. Relationships, instead of comfortably growing in stable soil, were thrown into a whirlwind dictated by external forces far beyond her control. This fusion of personal longing and public obligations shaped her existence in ways that were simultaneously profound and incomprehensible to those outside that sphere. Touring musicians often find their lives echoing the adventures described in seafaring literature, much like the works of Joseph Conrad, known for his vivid storytelling in Heart of Darkness. Linda Ronstadt once drew parallels between the life of a touring artist and the tales of sailors navigating the vast oceans. She highlighted the repetitive nature of their journeys, where musicians, like sailors, visit the same harbors time and again. Each city becomes a familiar port, filled with memories and experiences that shape their lives. The camaraderie among musicians mirrors the bonds formed among sailors, who share stories and laughter with the same old salty characters they encounter on the road. This sense of community is vital, as it provides comfort and connection amidst the challenges of life on tour. The late-night performances, the long drives, and the fleeting moments of joy all contribute to a rich tapestry of experiences that resonate deeply with the themes found in Conrad's narratives. The life of a touring musician is a journey filled with adventure, hardship, and the enduring spirit of friendship. Every day on tour felt like a page from the last for Linda Ronstadt. The routine of buses, hotels, sound checks, shows, dinners, and post-performance gatherings created a cycle that was both thrilling and exhausting. This constant movement and the demands of her career left little room for personal relationships. The life of a touring musician often means being away from home and loved ones, making it challenging to form lasting connections. Linda's focus on her music and the lifestyle that came with it may have led her to prioritize her career over romantic involvement. The repetitive nature of touring can make it difficult to invest in relationships, as each day blends into the next, leaving little time for personal growth or emotional connections. This lifestyle raises the question of whether she chose to remain single, or if the demands of her career simply made it hard to engage in meaningful relationships. The rhythm of her life on the road may have shaped her choices, leading to a solitary journey through the world of music. When Linda Ronstadt was climbing the heights of her musical career, her personal life often became the subject of public fascination, largely due to the many high-profile romances she experienced. Over the years, Linda was romantically linked to influential figures from both the entertainment and political realms, which drew extensive media curiosity and added an enigmatic layer to her private world. Among her notable relationships was her highly visible romance with Jerry Brown, the former governor of California. Their association in the late 1970s was not only a blending of two prominent personalities from different worlds, but also a spectacle that captivated the public and the press. The pairing of a rock icon and a political figure marked a new era of interplay between celebrity culture and politics. As her career evolved, Linda continued to entwine her personal narrative with other well-known individuals. She briefly dated George Lucas, the visionary creator of Star Wars, in the early 1980s. Their relationship, though discreet, attracted substantial attention due to Lucas's immense Hollywood influence and Ronstadt's status as a beloved music artist. Before this, she had been romantically connected to the comedian Jim Carrey during his early career and dated famed director Albert Brooks. At one point in the 1970s, Linda shared a close relationship with Pete Hamill, a journalist and novelist, and also collaborated romantically with John Boylan, her record producer and temporary manager as she established her space in the music industry. Her connection with Boylan reflected her tender history of intertwining her professional and personal journeys. Another of her resonant relationships included J.D. Souther, a musician and member of the Eagles, who was connected to Linda personally and professionally as well. Despite being linked with such prolific personalities, Linda consistently chose to remain independent, never accepting societal expectations attached to traditional commitments like marriage. She described herself as not being suited to the compromises involved in such unions, and maintained that her independence was essential for her artistic freedom. Her extraordinary career, paired with her unwillingness to tie her personal life to traditional marital arrangements, provided a refreshing portrait of an individual deeply committed to following her own terms, both in love and in art. This fascinating interplay between her private relationships and public persona weaves a compelling narrative of a woman who could charm influential men from many arenas while steadfastly refusing societal norms. Without embracing matrimony, Linda nurtured a fulfilling life filled with cherished connections, proving that love and independence could coexist harmoniously in the life of one of music's most iconic figures. Rumors circulated about Linda Ronstadt's love life for many years, with many attributing her single status to her sexual orientation. Some people believed she kept her true feelings a secret due to fear of rejection from fans and the public. This speculation created a narrative that overshadowed her remarkable career and personal choices. However, when she finally spoke up in an interview, she shared a completely different perspective. Ronstadt explained that her single status was not about hiding her sexual orientation, but rather about her focus on her music and career. She emphasized that her life choices were personal and not dictated by societal expectations. This revelation helped to clear the air around the misconceptions about her love life. It also highlighted the importance of understanding an artist's journey beyond the rumors and speculations that often surround them. Ronstadt's candidness allowed her fans to see her as a multifaceted individual, not just a public figure defined by gossip. Despite her iconic status as a music legend, Linda Ronstadt expressed a deeply personal ambition beneath her fame, a profound desire to find love and marry someone who resonated with her soul. At one point in her life, she spoke openly about this wish, underlining that her intentions were far removed from societal expectations or the pressures of public life. She articulated that her vision of love was anchored in the desire for a deeply enriching, personal connection, someone who could truly make her heart sing and bring harmony to her life in the most meaningful manner. For Linda, finding the right person meant more than just compatibility. It was about discovering a kindred spirit who could understand and share in the essence of who she was, both as a person and an artist. Her life journey was not about conforming to conventional milestones, but about cherishing authenticity. She emphasized that her pursuit of love was never a response to the idea that she had to follow societal norms or maintain a specific image. Instead, it stemmed from a genuine longing to meet someone who sparked joy and harmony within her life. Throughout the years, Linda proved fiercely independent, navigating her successful career and embracing a deeply personal understanding of love and happiness. She shared that the concept of marriage to her was not about ticking off a box or meeting an imagined expectation, but about cultivating a meaningful emotional rapport that was nurturing and mutually inspiring. Her perspective on love and relationships painted a picture of contemplative and intentional living, where she chose introspection over impulsive decisions and opted for waiting to find a person whose presence felt naturally synchronized with hers, rather than settling for convention or comfort. Amidst her years of stardom and success, Linda Ronstadt held steadfast to her personal views on relationships and what she deemed essential in a life partner. For her, the concept of an ideal partner was distinct and unwavering, underscoring key attributes that she considered non-negotiable. Loyalty stood prominently as an indispensable quality she valued above all else. She believed that a faithful bond was the foundation of trust and mutual respect in any partnership. In addition to this, she highlighted personality as a key factor, emphasizing the importance of a meaningful and well-rounded character that could resonate deeply with her own. Caring nature was another aspect Linda strongly advocated for. She sought a companion whose kindness and compassion could extend not just toward her, but to the world around them. It was clear that she revered emotional warmth and the ability to empathize as cornerstones of a fulfilling relationship. Yet, while these traits were fundamental, there was one more element that she revealed to be particularly transformative: a good sense of humor. Humor, for Linda, was not just a superficial quality, but a deeply enchanting one. She expressed how the ability to laugh and share light-hearted moments created a unique connection, making a person instantly more appealing. Someone who could make her laugh held an undeniable advantage in catching her attention and capturing her affection. The joy of shared laughter, she suggested, could transcend difficulties and knit two lives together in a meaningful way. Her understanding of compatibility and romance went beyond fleeting attractions or grand gestures. It was deeply rooted in the values of emotional integrity and shared moments of joy. By placing these attributes at the heart of her ideal partnership, Linda articulated a profound view that relationships should combine both emotional depth and simple joys. She carved out a vision not of perfection, but of a balanced, enduring love defined by understanding, care, and laughter. Despite her tremendous success in the music industry, Linda Ronstadt's personal life has always reflected a unique and deeply introspective approach, especially when it came to relationships. While her musical journey carved a path through rock, country, opera, and Latin music, winning her countless awards and widespread acclaim, her personal quest for a partner seemed rooted in more intimate ideals. What truly spoke to her heart was a shared love for music and an equally profound understanding of who she was as a person. These qualities, she believed, were essential for any lasting companionship. Over the years, she formed relationships with several men who shared her passion for music, each connection reflecting varying levels of mutual respect, admiration, and creativity. Among these relationships, her time with rock singer J.D. Souther during the early 1970s was both noteworthy and illustrative of her draw toward individuals who resonated musically with her. Their bond spotlighted not just personal chemistry, but also a creative melding, fueling speculation about a deeper connection beyond the stage. Yet, like many of her relationships, their time together underscored the complexity of balancing shared passion with the deeply personal aspects of love and companionship. Another significant relationship came later with director George Lucas. Their partnership, however distinct from her previous musically inclined relationships, reflected her openness to connections that brought different perspectives into her life. Yet, even with Lucas, the sparks of enduring love never fully aligned with the core emotional and interpersonal ideals Linda valued most. Throughout her life, Linda remained single, a decision that was as much a reflection of her independent spirit as it was of her unwillingness to compromise on what truly mattered to her. The intersection of her musical career and her personal life offered a mosaic of moments revealing how deeply she valued not just shared artistic interests, but an understanding of her as an individual, a nuanced and multifaceted artist who could not easily be defined by traditional paths. Despite her relationships, none grew into a lifelong commitment, perhaps because Linda's own standards for compatibility were shaped by her rich inner world and her steadfast devotion to her art. Her views on relationships also highlighted a profound self-awareness, acknowledging that a partner needed to fully embrace the music central to her life, one that was not just professional but also deeply personal. It wasn't solely about admiring her talent or sharing the spotlight. It was about a merging of mutual admiration and understanding that extended beyond the stage and into the subtleties of daily existence. As much as Linda cherished the idea of a shared passion for creativity, she seemed to recognize the challenges of cultivating the depth of personal connections she longed for within her unique world. In the end, her storied relationships became another facet of her incredible life, a narrative rich with harmony, love, and the occasional dissonance of unmet expectations. While no single relationship culminated in a lifelong partnership, they collectively underscored the high value Linda placed on authenticity, emotional depth, and a shared musical spirit, leaving behind a legacy not just as a music icon, but as a woman deeply committed to her principles. While many of her peers were settling down and starting families, Linda Ronstadt was on a different path. She made a deliberate choice to focus on her music, pouring her heart and soul into creating songs that resonated with her fans. This commitment to her artistic journey became a defining aspect of her life. Later in life, she disclosed the true reason for her singlehood, shedding light on the sacrifices she made for her craft. Ronstadt's dedication to music often took precedence over conventional views on marriage and relationships. She believed that her art was a vital expression of herself, and this belief guided her decisions. By prioritizing her career, she not only created a remarkable body of work, but also inspired countless others to follow their passions. Her story reflects a deep commitment to artistry, illustrating how personal choices can shape one's life in profound ways. The journey she embarked on was not just about fame or success. It was about authenticity and the pursuit of what truly mattered to her. She expressed her perspective with a laugh, sharing that marriage wasn't a priority for her. Linda Ronstadt saw herself as a serial monogamist, moving through her relationships with a focus on the joy and connection they brought rather than a pursuit of permanence. Her laughter hinted at the carefree spirit that guided her decisions, revealing a woman who understood her own heart and mind. This approach to life wasn't a rejection of love, but rather a thoughtful choice to prioritize what mattered most to her. It wasn't that she dismissed the institution of marriage altogether. Instead, she recognized that the commitment and compromises it required could potentially conflict with her career and the personal ambitions she cherished deeply. Linda had a clear sense of where her passions lay. Her art and music provided not just a livelihood, but were the very foundation of her identity. She seemed to know instinctively that the time and energy marriage demanded might divert her focus from the work she loved so profoundly. Through a career that spanned decades and encompassed countless styles and reinventions, this singular focus served her well. By declining societal expectations and charting her own course, Linda's decisions illuminated her independent nature. Her relationships were not without depth or significance, but she chose not to allow them to define her. Instead, she sought partners who added to her life in the moment, but was unafraid to let go when paths diverged. This mindset gave her the freedom to fully immerse herself in her craft, unburdened by expectations or restraints. It was in this freedom that Linda truly thrived, creating music that resonated deeply with her audiences and reflected her wholehearted dedication to her art. Before delving into the more serious reasons behind her choice to remain unmarried, it is important to explore the series of weird relationships that added depth to her journey. Linda Ronstadt, a celebrated singer known for her powerful voice and eclectic musical style, had a colorful romantic life that often drew public attention. Throughout her career, she was linked to several high-profile figures, including musicians and actors, which contributed to her mystique. Her relationships were often marked by passion and intensity, reflecting her vibrant personality and artistic spirit. One notable relationship was with the famous political figure, Jerry Brown, who served as the governor of California. Their romance was both public and tumultuous, showcasing the challenges of balancing a high-profile career with personal life. Additionally, her connection with the legendary musician, Jackson Browne, highlighted the intersection of love and creativity, as both were influential in the music scene of the 1970s. These relationships, while intriguing, were not the sole reason for her decision to remain unmarried. They provided a backdrop to her life, illustrating the complexities of love and commitment in the face of her demanding career. Ronstadt's choice to focus on her music and personal freedom ultimately shaped her identity, allowing her to explore her artistry without the constraints of traditional marriage. As she navigated through these experiences, it became clear that her journey was not just about romantic entanglements, but also about self-discovery and empowerment. The relationships she engaged in were part of a larger narrative that defined her as an artist and an individual, revealing the layers of her character and the choices she made along the way. In the early 1970s, Linda Ronstadt shared a profound romantic and professional bond with John Boylan, a Grammy-winning record producer. Their connection went beyond a typical love story. They became deeply intertwined in both their personal lives and careers. Beginning as a couple, they soon moved in together, sharing their lives and artistic visions. Boylan did not just play the role of a partner. He also managed Linda's burgeoning career during this period, helping her navigate the complexities of the music industry. Their shared space became a hub of creativity and collaboration, with Boylan offering guidance and support as Linda's career steadily climbed to greater heights. This partnership marked a significant phase in Ronstadt's life. Boylan's influence wasn't limited to their personal relationship. He became an essential figure in shaping the trajectory of her career. His strategic insights and production expertise allowed Linda to explore her artistry in ways that aligned with her ambitions. Their relationship reflected an era when their mutual respect and understanding created a synergy that extended well beyond their personal lives. Together, they sustained a commitment that not only nourished Linda's growth as an artist, but also highlighted the depth of their connection. With Boylan's presence as both a manager and a confidant, Linda found a partner who understood the balance between their private sphere and the demands of stardom. This period encapsulates a time of shared dedication and emotion that profoundly influenced both their journeys. As life unfolded, Linda Ronstadt and John Boylan, who shared both a personal and professional connection, found their dynamic shifting in unexpected ways. Initially brought together by their shared passion for music, their relationship deepened to include a romantic involvement. With Boylan as her producer and manager, they collaborated on forging Linda's path in the music industry. However, as they took the next step and moved in together, the complexities of their relationship began to surface. Linda candidly shared in 2019 that their decision to cohabitate marked a turning point, one that led their romantic connection to unravel. This phase of their personal journey highlighted Linda's inherent need for a partner who not only accepted her ambitious nature, but also wholeheartedly supported her choices without conflict. Boylan's inability to fully align with this expectation became a wedge that altered their romantic course. Yet, their mutual admiration and respect for each other's creative talents remained intact, enabling them to navigate the transition from romantic partners to professional collaborators with remarkable grace. In the aftermath of their personal separation, Linda and John continued to work together, exemplifying a level of maturity and professionalism often admired but rarely achieved. Boylan's role in shaping her career persisted as he contributed his expertise to various projects, reflecting their undiminished respect and the deep bond they had cultivated over the years. This aspect of their relationship serves as a testament to their enduring partnership within the professional realm, a space where their shared passion for music could thrive despite the personal challenges they had faced. After parting ways with John, Linda found love again in 1972 with J.D. Souther. Their connection blossomed into a tender romance, and they decided to move in together, marking the beginning of a deeply creative and cooperative period in their lives. Their time together was infused with shared passion for music, and the duo delved into songwriting, producing numerous classic tracks that continue to resonate with fans. During their relationship, they collaborated on iconic songs such as Faithless Love, which became a definitive piece of Linda's repertoire, along with other memorable compositions like Simple Man, Simple Dream, and Prisoner in Disguise. These songs not only captured the essence of their relationship, but also displayed their individual musical strengths amplified through their partnership. As their journey continued, their bond became one of the cornerstones of the vibrant California music scene, intertwining with the work of other legendary artists of the era. Their shared home became a space where creativity flourished, including moments when influences from contemporaries like the Eagles subtly shaped their work. Despite their commitment to their craft and to each other, their romantic journey eventually came to an end in 1974. J.D. later reflected he couldn't quite recall the reason for the breakup, further underlining the amicable tone with which their relationship concluded. The two remained on good terms after parting ways, choosing to cherish the memories of the connection they built and the music they created together. Their collaborations from that period remain timeless, forever associating Linda Ronstadt and J.D. Souther as one of the iconic duos in music history. The artistry that emerged from their time together endures, continuing to captivate audiences with its depth, emotion, and the magic of their combined talents. Soon after Linda Ronstadt's relationship with J.D. Souther ended in 1974, she developed a connection with actor and comedian Albert Brooks. Despite their professional differences, with Linda immersed in the music world and Albert in acting and comedy, they found common ground in their shared sense of humor and attraction to one another. Their relationship quickly became a significant part of their lives, marked by a mix of admiration and differences in understanding each other's career paths. At the time, Albert Brooks, known for his impressive acting and filmmaking abilities, brought his own charm and intellect to the relationship. Meanwhile, Linda, whose incredible voice and heartwarming performances had solidified her stature as a music icon, navigated this new chapter in her personal life. Their connection was marked by a mutual appreciation of each other's personalities, even as Linda admitted later that she was not particularly fond of the acting industry, and Albert acknowledged that he was not deeply connected to music in the same way Linda was. Their dynamic often reflected the challenges of bridging two very distinct worlds. Linda, deeply rooted in her music career, found herself captivated by Albert's wit and intellect, but their lifestyles often clashed. Albert, on the other hand, found Linda's charisma and passion for her craft irresistible, yet they struggled to harmonize the dissimilarity in their professional lives. Nonetheless, their time together was not without joyous moments and genuine affection. During their relationship, the duo shared laughter and intimate moments where their distinct personalities complemented one another. They spent significant time together, including living as a couple for a portion of their relationship. Albert's humor and warm personality managed to soften Linda's concerns about their career differences. As their bond was built on more than just a fleeting attraction, it was marked by respect and admiration, albeit with its limitations. However, as time went on, their professional commitments and inherent differences began to create a drift. By 1976, less than 2 years after they started dating, the pair decided to part ways amicably. Reflecting on their time together, both Linda and Albert carried their memories fondly, even though their love story was relatively brief. Linda would later comment on Albert's cuteness and personality, while Albert remained appreciative of Linda's incredible talent and spirit. Their relationship, though short-lived, remains a part of both their journeys, showcasing how two individuals from different creative worlds can connect, even if just for a short time. Their journey intertwined in 1971, sparked by a chance meeting at Lucy's El Adobe, a cozy Mexican restaurant nestled in Los Angeles. This marked the start of a remarkable relationship between Linda Ronstadt, a celebrated musician, and Jerry Brown, a rising political figure who would later serve as the governor of California. The romance between the rock queen and the ambitious politician wasn't just a personal affair. It captured the public's fascination and frequently graced headlines. While Brown campaigned for higher office, their unique connection blended two contrasting worlds, resonating both in the corridors of power and on the front pages. By the mid-1970s, their relationship evolved deeply, highlighted by shared passions and mutual respect despite their distinctly different career paths and lifestyles. Their coupling became emblematic of an era where public and private lives intersected more visibly, anchored by a shared sense of adventure. In 1979, their high-profile romance culminated in an adventurous trip to Africa. This journey symbolized not just their shared love of exploration, but also their ability to navigate between contrasting lifestyles. Bond's stoic political persona complemented by Ronstadt's vivacious musical career. The late 1970s and early 1980s underscored the peak of their time together. Events such as musical performances in support of Brown's political aspirations brought them even closer. Ronstadt's memoir, Simple Dreams, published in 2013, reflects on those cherished years. She described their time together as rich with joy, reminiscing about moments filled with laughter, shared ideals, and care. Even as their journeys eventually diverged, the bond they shared during this transformative decade remained a vital chapter in both their stories. Through their time together, Linda Ronstadt and Jerry Brown formed a unique bond that captured public fascination. Their association began in 1971 when they were introduced at Lucy's El Adobe, a Mexican restaurant in Los Angeles. Brown, then serving as California's Secretary of State, was immediately captivated by Ronstadt, an emerging singer yet to achieve superstardom. Their connection grew stronger during the mid-1970s when Brown was serving as governor of California, and Ronstadt had become one of the most successful entertainers of her era. The dynamics of their relationship intertwined the world of politics and entertainment, gaining extensive media attention and even gracing magazine covers. For Brown, their connection seemed profound, his admiration apparent from the beginning. However, for Ronstadt, while Jerry provided a comforting companionship, she harbored reservations about its permanence. Dating a politician posed challenges unfamiliar to her lifestyle as an artist. With Brown's gubernatorial duties, their life together often played out under public scrutiny. Their high-profile appearances, such as a joint trip to Africa in 1979, only amplified celebrity and political intrigue surrounding them. While Brown worked on his political agenda, Ronstadt found her role as his companion both intriguing and restrained, as navigating the political realm was far from her comfort zone. Despite their differences, Linda and Jerry shared moments of genuine affection, traveling together and maintaining mutual respect. Linda, however, seemed to know instinctively that their paths were inherently different. She viewed the relationship as significant, yet temporary, understanding that a life with a politician, with its constant demands and spotlight, would conflict with her free-spirited artistic expression. Brown's consuming career in government and Ronstadt's nomadic life as a musician created a divide that time could not reconcile. Despite the warmth they shared, their relationship, considered unconventional for the era, stood as a testament to how two influential figures embraced their connection, however fleeting. Both went on to leave a legacy in their respective fields, never letting the dissolution of their romance dim the admiration they held for one another. Through the years, the companionship provided Linda a momentary reprieve and introduced her to an unfamiliar yet fascinating side of life, while Jerry cherished her as a bright presence amidst the pressures of his political career. Linda Ronstadt allowed the media to believe that her relationship with a politician would not work out. She understood that a politician requires a constant presence at home, while her life as a singer involved being on the move. In her own words, she never deceived herself into thinking they would share every aspect of their lives. Linda felt that his world would be too confining for her, and conversely, her world would be too wild for him. This mutual understanding led them to part ways gracefully. They chose to follow individual paths that resonated with their unique selves, recognizing that their lifestyles were fundamentally different. Linda's commitment to her music and the freedom it brought her was essential, while the demands of political life required stability and presence. Their decision to separate was not born out of conflict, but rather a deep respect for each other's needs and aspirations. This choice allowed them to remain true to who they were, embracing their individual journeys without regret. After bidding farewell to Jerry Brown, Linda Ronstadt found herself linked with the acclaimed actor and comedian Bill Murray during the early 1980s. Known for his sharp wit and iconic roles in films such as Groundhog Day, Murray was a departure from her previous relationships, marking a more unconventional connection for Ronstadt. Their rumored time together raised eyebrows and interest in Hollywood circles, as Ronstadt, an established music artist at the peak of her career, seemed to share a unique bond with the Emmy Award-winning performer. Tales of their moments together hinted at a delightful blending of Ronstadt's soulful aura with Murray's comedic brilliance. Though sparse details have been revealed about the nature of their relationship, it is rumored that their interaction went beyond mere acquaintance. For fans and followers of both, the pairing was unexpected but deeply fascinating. Speculations were fueled by sightings and shared encounters during that period, painting a picture of two creative souls possibly finding solace in each other's company amidst the bustling chaos of their respective careers. Ronstadt's curiosities and openness to explore connections beyond the music industry seemed to contrast beautifully with Murray's spontaneous and offbeat nature. In a time when both were enjoying substantial success in their fields, the possibility of a romance added an interesting layer to their personal narratives. Whether their bond was fleeting or lingered in subtler ways, the dynamic between the rock songstress and the comedy veteran left an impression of a pairing that defied conventional celebrity norms. Their rumored relationship took place during a period when both were figures of significant cultural impact, making their connection an intriguing footnote in the annals of celebrity history. While little is documented about their interactions, the mere speculation of their chemistry has fueled decades of curiosity, showcasing the mystery and allure that surrounded their reported association during that era. Later in 1983, Linda Ronstadt's journey introduced her to then-aspiring comedian Jim Carrey. Their encounter unexpectedly occurred at one of his stand-up performances in Los Angeles, where Linda had come seeking someone to kick off her music tour. The sparks ignited at that moment would lead to an 8-month romance filled with humor and warmth. At the time, Carey was just 21 years old and relatively unknown in the entertainment world, while Linda, at 36, had already achieved iconic status as a household name in music. The age difference did not seem to matter as their connection blossomed. Linda admired Jim's comedic talent as much as his down-to-earth nature, and their partnership was marked by an endearing simplicity. Despite Jim living with his parents during their relationship, Linda appreciated his honesty and was wholly unpretentious. Jim's modest lifestyle, including his self-described crusty car, didn't deter their courtship. If anything, it only deepened Linda's appreciation for his genuine personality. Jim's performances were transformative during this time, and Linda's interest in him stretched beyond romance. Initially looking to expand her tour, she instead found herself captivated by Carey's presence and wit. Although their relationship was relatively short-lived, lasting from February to October of that year, it stood out as a unique chapter in their lives. Their months together were full of laughter and mutual support, offering each other a well-timed respite in the midst of their respective career trajectories. Linda's stature as an established star and Jim's budding comedic brilliance created an interesting dynamic. Together, they navigated the period as equals, focusing on the organic connection that developed rather than societal expectations. While this was just a prelude in Carey's eventual rise to fame, for Linda, it represented yet another unexpected turn in her recklessly honest and adventurous personal life. Though both moved on to pursue different paths, their shared moments in 1983 offer a glimpse into the softer nuances of celebrity relationships during a very vibrant cultural era. Jim Carrey's admiration for Linda Ronstadt shone brightly when he described her as an absolutely incredible human being. This sentiment was echoed during their brief relationship, a time when Carey was captivated not only by Linda's immense talent, but also by her personality. Their connection was filled with mutual respect, even though their romance was comparatively short-lived. Linda, renowned for her trailblazing influence in the music world, transitioned from this high-profile association into another notable chapter of her life. It was 1983 when she crossed paths with the legendary filmmaker George Lucas backstage at one of her concerts. Their meeting marked the beginning of a unique journey between two creative powerhouses. Their romance lasted over 5 years, showcasing significant depth and a shared fondness for privacy. Both chose to keep many aspects of their relationship away from public scrutiny, ensuring that their personal bond remained shielded from excessive media attention. The pair eventually became engaged during their time together. However, despite the strong connection they cultivated, their paths diverged, and they decided to part ways in 1988. This decision marked the end of a chapter filled with moments shared by two individuals who had not only captivated the world in their respective fields, but also found companionship in each other's company. In 1989, Linda Ronstadt embarked on a new chapter in her life by developing a romantic and artistic connection with Aaron Neville, a renowned vocalist whose unique voice added depth to every note he sang. Their meeting not only kindled a partnership in music, but also sparked a heartfelt relationship that would leave a lasting mark on their personal and professional lives. In their time together, they became known for their soulful duets that resonated with millions around the world. One of their most iconic collaborations was the duet, "Don't Know Much," featured on Linda's chart-topping album Cry Like a Rainstorm, Howl Like the Wind. The blend of their voices brought out an emotional depth that captivated audiences. The chemistry was palpable, unveiling the effortless harmony of their talents and the affection they held for each other. Another significant joint effort came with the song When Something Is Wrong With My Baby. Their powerful performances and genuine camaraderie led many in the music industry to dub them the first couple of pop music. The couple's connection extended beyond the recording studio and concert halls. Their personal bond reflected mutual respect and admiration, and their relationship was viewed as a testament to their shared devotion to their craft and each other. Despite the intensity of their romance and the magic they created together in the world of music, the love they shared was not to last a lifetime. In 1992, Linda and Aaron decided to part ways, ending their relationship, but leaving behind a legacy of collaboration and mutual inspiration. Since then, Linda has embraced the role of a single mother, raising her adopted children, Mary Clementine and Carlos, with love and dedication. Although Linda has had her fair share of high-profile relationships with charismatic and talented men like George Lucas, Jerry Brown, and Jim Carrey, she never felt compelled to walk down the aisle. She often pointed to the tumultuous nature of the Hollywood lifestyle as the primary reason for avoiding marriage, stating as far back as 1974 that it created an environment so chaotic that it conflicted with her ability to fully commit to romantic relationships. Linda's path into single motherhood began in the 1990s, with her adoption of Mary in 1990 and Carlos in 1994. Both decisions reflected her commitment to building her own family on her own terms, unconcerned with societal pressures to conform to traditional norms. Her decision also echoes her philosophy of autonomy, as Linda has long been known for charting her own course, both personally and professionally, rather than adhering to the molds expected of her. The chaos of Hollywood in the 1970s and 1980s, with its relentless tabloids and fast-paced social scene, shaped Linda's perspective on love and commitment. Relationships were often scrutinized by the media, adding tension to even the most intimate connections. This environment, though glittering and full of opportunity, felt incompatible with the kind of depth and trust required for a lasting marital union. Instead, Linda chose to channel her energy into her children and her artistic passions, which brought her a profound sense of fulfillment. She often speaks candidly about her choices, emphasizing that while her high-profile relationships were meaningful and enriching, the demanding rhythms of fame and her commitment to her career left little room for traditional domesticity. The constant pressures and occupational demands only strengthened her resolve to pursue life on her own terms. It was by observing the intricacies of relationships that Linda Ronstadt developed a reflective, almost philosophical approach to love and companionship. She revealed that she often perceived relationships as fleeting, their permanence overshadowed by an inherent impermanence. From the outside, it might seem curious why a woman like Linda, at the height of her stardom and possessing boundless talent, would emphasize the challenges and complexities of sustaining relationships over their idealized beauty. But in her introspective musings, she once confessed a reluctance to set herself up for disappointment, a deeply human response to cycles of expectation and reality. Speaking candidly, she pondered why relationships, often glorified as eternal unions, seemed so difficult to uphold. Linda reflected on the question of why people couldn't simply get married and remain so forever. She concluded that life fills us with continuously evolving experiences, which inevitably leads to changes within individuals. This constant tide of evolving information and perspectives often transforms people in ways that may not align with the longevity of a partnership. In her view, relationships became a near impossible challenge to maintain because individuals frequently outgrow the bonds they form, driven by personal growth and unforeseen life shifts. Her perspective went beyond age or societal norms, diving into the subtle dynamics of human interaction. For Linda, the realization that relationships do not conform to set patterns of permanency was perhaps rooted in her own life filled with colossal success, reinvention, and moments of solitude. It contributed to her decision not to marry, a decision that some might see as unconventional for her era. Despite that, it highlighted her hesitancy to embrace the predictable narrative of romantic unions. It was not a rejection of love itself, but an understanding of its impermanence and complexity, and perhaps a desire to avoid the pain of watching something she valued crumble. Throughout her career, her songs often carried echoes of her thoughts on love and relationships, unspoken but palpable in tone. Her discernment and honesty about how people change as individuals shaped not only her own approach to personal ties, but also her deeply emotional arc. Linda's reluctance to embrace traditional narratives of romance underscores the universal truth that love, though beautiful, can often be a complicated and, at times, daunting journey. Linda Ronstadt's relationships were intertwined with the rhythms and cadences of her musical odyssey, echoing both the highs and tremolos of her career. The music scene she navigated was not just a backdrop, but a stage where constant temptations arose to form new connections, drawing her into a pulsating network teeming with creativity and ambition. Time was scarcely her ally, stretched thin between recording sessions, tours, and personal pursuits. The industry's inherent competitive essence added another layer of difficulty, as many of the individuals she encountered were fellow musicians equally driven by passion and artistry. These complexities weren't transient. They were enduring realities that threaded through her life as she achieved formidable milestones in her career. The push and pull of romantic interests intertwined, but never overtook her trajectory, as her focus on music often demanded a singular devotion that made deeply rooted personal relationships seem unattainable. The intrigue surrounding her love life stemmed from her openness about these challenges, painting her less as a recluse, and more as someone whose priorities were shaped by external pressures and internal aspirations. Balancing personal spaces amidst her star-studded connections was an art in itself. Often, the demands to conform to conventional roles, such as marriage, diverged starkly from her inner rhythm, creating a distance between societal expectations and her pursuit of personal fulfillment. Competitor relationships, by their nature, carried dual identities as companions and contenders. This competitive tension mingled with frailty of time, sometimes fostering fragility that never allowed bonds to wholly consolidate. It wasn't just about unwillingness, it was a conscious weighing of costs and consequences. Although Linda Ronstadt achieved fame and remarkable success in her multifaceted musical career, her true essence shines in her staunch commitment to maintaining her personal and creative independence. Whether it concerns her groundbreaking work across diverse musical genres or her views on personal relationships, the idea of compromise has never found a home in her life. In a candid 2019 interview with the Washington Post, Ronstadt expressed an unapologetic take on herself and her individuality by admitting a self-perceived lack of talent for marriage. She elaborated on this point with a vivid metaphor about a pink sofa, an innocuous item rendered significant by what it represented: her unwillingness to acquiesce to another's preferences at the cost of her own. The pink sofa to Linda was not just a piece of furniture. It was a statement, a marker of autonomy in a world where compromise often overrides individuality. Her fierce independence was not confined merely to personal relationships. It overflowed into her creative pursuits, which often brushed convention aside. Musical norms, industry expectations, and even audience comfort zones were not obstacles she feared confronting. She traversed genres like rock, country, opera, and classical Mexican ranchera music with an ease that confounded her peers, and instead of tethering herself to one identity for the sake of mass appeal, Ronstadt rewrote the rulebook for what fame and success could look like. Rising stars in the male-dominated music industry of her time often had to compromise heavily, either by molding themselves to a producer's vision or succumbing to the limitations others placed on them. Ronstadt defied these impositions every step of the way. Critics could view her vocal clarity, cutting through tangibly layered arrangements, her discography continuing to embrace eclecticism instead of monotony. Her decisions were firm, thought-provoking, yet instinctively appropriate, much like her principle of choosing the metaphorical pink sofa when she clearly wanted one. The unrelenting loyalty to her desires and intuition remained intact despite critics or societal expectations. Beyond her musical autonomy, Ronstadt's independence reflected a personality that sought meaningful engagement with issues she felt deeply about. Her reflections on relationships and marriage have always been candid, showing a mix of independence and thoughtfulness. Unlike the image many hold of rock stars from the late 60s and 70s, marked by excess and chaos, her life offered a different narrative. While the era's culture embraced wild parties fueled by various indulgences, including drugs and alcohol, she steered a path away from these stereotypes. Her career, ascent in the music world, and personal life reveal a focused and grounded approach in stark contrast to the hedonistic lifestyle often attributed to rock icons of her time. She openly spoke of the challenges and joys of maintaining connections, always reflecting on them with an authenticity and depth rare in the public eye. The deeply personal manner with which she addressed love and partnership further set her apart, creating a sense of relatability even amidst her stardom. Although Linda Ronstadt emerged as an independent and exceptional figure within the music scene of her era, her personal life presented a striking contrast to the chaotic lifestyles often associated with rock and roll. Amidst the unconventional shifts and decisions that defined her artistic career, she humorously acknowledged her own forms of indulgence, distinguishing them from the excesses in her field. Did she experiment with different things? She cheerfully admitted she did, but her addiction was not to any vice typical of that time. Instead, it was to reading. While others might have been caught up in the whirlwind of parties and nightlife, Linda was the girl contentedly spending her time in hotel rooms, surrounded by books and engrossed in her knitting projects. Her affinity for reading was more than just a pastime. It was a window into her personality's quieter, contemplative side. She often retreated to her love for printed words, savoring the tranquility and focus it allowed her amidst the demanding cycles of tours and recording sessions. This habit offered her a grounding escape, reflecting her shy nature and a preference for introspection over the constant public eye of her profession. Coupled with this, knitting became another symbol of her deliberate choice to reserve part of her life for peaceful, creative solitude. As her knitting needles clicked rhythmically, generating vibrant patterns and textures, she found solace in a practice that combined skill, patience, and imagination. These moments outside of the spotlight defined her as an artist, an individual who found joy and identity in pursuits that nurtured her inner world. Even as a legendary performer, Linda's devotion to her personal interests highlighted a unique aspect of her character. She embraced the philosophies of moderation and careful indulgence, showing how these could coexist with boundless creativity and public success. Interestingly, Linda Ronstadt highlighted a facet of rock music culture that often goes unnoticed: the surprising prevalence of reading as a pastime among musicians. Speaking at the National Book Festival in Washington, D.C., she shared personal insights that revealed the intellectual undertones within the world of rock and roll. She recounted how a fellow musician inspired her to dive into the pages of the literary classic Anna Karenina, cementing her appreciation for the written word. This anecdote shed light on a side of rockers that is seldom publicized, emphasizing their engagement with literature. Ronstadt's observations extended further, delving into the personality differences between musicians based on their roles within a band. She noted that piano players stood out as avid readers, often serving as calm and grounding presences amidst the whirlwind energy of band life. Their temperament, she explained, brought a sense of balance, almost akin to the role of a steadying catcher in baseball. She contrasted this with the dynamic yet intense nature of lead guitar players, whom she humorously likened to high-strung pitchers. Their charged energy often dominated the stage, creating a vivid juxtaposition to the composed demeanor of piano players. Drummers, she remarked with gentle humor, seemed less inclined toward literary pursuits, their focus often directed toward the raw rhythm and physical intensity of their craft. This unique dynamic within bands not only shaped the music they created, but also illustrated the diverse personalities that make up rock ensembles. The interaction of these contrasting roles, from the intellectually inclined piano player to the fiery electric energy of the lead guitar player, created a balance that translated into unforgettable musical collaborations. These insights from Ronstadt provide a fresh perspective, peeling back the layers of rock stardom to reveal a world where literature and music harmoniously intersected. After several meaningful experiences and a career soaring in unparalleled heights, Linda Ronstadt chose a profoundly personal path to enrich her life by adopting 2 children. In December 1990, she embraced motherhood for the first time by adopting her daughter, Mary Clementine Ronstadt. Mary, who was an infant at the time, instantly became the center of Linda's world, offering the celebrated artist the fulfillment of nurturing and loving unconditionally in a way she had long yearned for. Mary's early life was spent learning and growing in the warmth and stability of Linda's loving home. Over the years, she developed a penchant for creativity, perhaps an influence from her mother's artistic background. Though Linda raised her children away from the limelight, allowing them to have their private lives away from the intense glare of media attention, Mary found joy and comfort in artistic pursuits. As she navigated her own path, she worked closely with the development of art, and her talents began shining through in unique ways. 4 years later, wishing to expand her family, Linda adopted her second child. In 1994, she welcomed her son, Carlos Ronstadt, into her life. The adoption of Carlos solidified Linda's role as a dedicated and caring single mother. Linda always spoke of her children with great pride, and Carlos was no exception. From an early age, Carlos displayed a natural talent and affinity for music, a gift possibly passed down through the familial connection to Linda's own iconic career. However, music was not his sole passion. Carlos grew up into an individual with diverse interests, eventually carving out a successful career for himself in the tech industry. Working at Apple and building a stable and nurturing environment for his adult years showcased his discipline and determination. Occasionally playing the guitar and continuing to cultivate his artistic side, Carlos balanced his career ambitions with his creative spirit. While Linda has been forthright about her joy as a mother, she remained fiercely protective of her children's privacy. Both Mary and Carlos largely grew up out of the spotlight, away from the scrutiny and pressures often associated with their mother's fame. Linda once shared her sense of fulfillment in raising her children, focusing on their growth and well-being rather than her public image. She allowed them the freedom to explore their own interests while providing the support and guidance necessary for building stable lives. Linda's decision to adopt reflected not only her deep love for children, but also her belief in creating a family based on unconditional love, rather than traditional expectations. Her life as a single mother was a choice she made confidently, rejecting societal norms and embracing a path that fit her personal values. Being a mother to Mary and Carlos added dimensions to her already colorful life, shaping her experiences and broadening her understanding of love, commitment, and care beyond her celebrated career in music. Around the turn of the millennium, Linda Ronstadt approached one of the most demanding chapters of her life. She masterfully navigated the dual responsibilities of being a celebrated music icon while embracing the joys and challenges of motherhood. Touring globally with sold-out performances wherever she went, she exemplified determination and balance, juggling a demanding career and her role as a mother. Linda continued to shine, not only through her music, but also in the way she prioritized her family amidst it all. However, as the years progressed, an obstacle began to emerge that threatened one of her greatest assets, her voice. Renowned for its unmatched power, emotion, and clarity, Linda's voice had enchanted audiences across decades and genres. But, by the late 2000s, she faced extraordinary challenges as her vocal abilities began to diminish. Her live stage performances, once a vibrant extension of her artistry, became increasingly difficult. By 2009, Linda herself recognized the growing strain and decline when performing. Songs that once soared effortlessly now required a painful effort, causing her to reevaluate her ability to continue. This struggle had a profound impact, both professionally and personally. It was with a heavy heart that in 2011, Linda made the decision to officially retire from the stage. The formidable career that had spanned decades, genres, and generations came to an emotional close. Though she remained celebrated for her extensive contributions to music, her departure left an indelible mark, signaling the end of an era for her loyal fans and followers. In 2013, Linda Ronstadt revealed to the world that she had been battling Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological condition that ultimately forced her to step away from the stage forever. This announcement came during an interview with the American Association of Retired Persons as she prepared for the release of her memoir, Simple Dreams. The diagnosis explained a decade-long struggle with her voice, a challenge that had puzzled her until doctors provided clarity. For years, she had attributed her diminishing singing ability to other factors, but the truth of Parkinson's not only ended her illustrious singing career, but also marked a significant shift in her personal life. Linda Ronstadt was a beloved musical icon whose voice could transcend genres effortlessly, earning her acclaim across rock, country, and opera. Yet, when faced with Parkinson's disease, she found herself grappling with the loss of what she considered her most defining attribute, her ability to sing. She candidly shared that she realized something was wrong long before her diagnosis. Her voice, her prized gift that had shaped her identity and career, had started behaving unpredictably, losing the precision and control for which she was celebrated. By the time the diagnosis was officially made, she had already retired from singing, accepting the physical limitations Parkinson's imposed on her. Despite the profound changes Parkinson's brought to her life, Ronstadt maintained a level of acceptance and candor that matched the strength she exuded throughout her career. She spoke openly about the challenges of living with the condition, describing how it shifted her daily routines and forced her to adjust to a new normal. Nevertheless, her love for music remained undiminished. Although she could no longer perform, she stayed connected to the art form that brought her fame and joy, cherishing the memories and legacy she created during her decades in the spotlight. Her story served as an inspiration, reminding others of the strength required to adapt to life's unforeseen challenges, while holding on to the essence of who you are. As the years passed, Linda Ronstadt faced a new, challenging chapter in her life. Although previously diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, her doctors reevaluated her condition in 2019 and identified it as progressive supranuclear palsy, a rare degenerative brain disorder. This devastating revelation redefined Linda's journey, not just as a celebrated artist, but also as an individual grappling with a condition that has no complete cure. Unlike Parkinson's, supranuclear palsy affects areas such as balance, motor skills, and speech much more aggressively. This neurological disease profoundly impacted Linda's life, taking away her ability to sing, which was once her most defining characteristic. The artist, who had deftly transcended musical genres and languages throughout her illustrious career, found herself confronted with a reality where song and performance became inaccessible. Her unique contralto voice that captivated millions now lives only in her treasured recordings and the memories of her countless fans. Linda was advised by her physicians to spend more time at home and reduce external engagements, a stark shift for someone who had always been so connected with the world through her music. Her retirement and subsequent isolation didn't diminish her deep appreciation for music, though. She often shared how the melodies and compositions she once sang still resonate deeply within her, even if she could no longer sing them out loud. This rare disorder brings both physical and emotional challenges, with symptoms that can include difficulty walking, maintaining balance, and even moving the eyes. For Linda, these obstacles have been a transformative experience, not only limiting her independence but also narrowing a life that had once been filled with endless stages and cheering crowds. Yet she remains a person who treasures storytelling and the beauty of harmonies, finding ways to stay connected to her artistry through other means. Despite the immense changes, she has remained vocal about her journey, ensuring it brings awareness to such rare medical conditions. Her courage in the face of adversity echoes her resilience as a performer who once bravely crossed stylistic boundaries in music. While her diagnosis added layers of complexity to her existence, it also revealed another aspect of Linda: her profound humanity, strength, and capacity to adapt to an altered yet meaningful life. In a heartfelt interview during 2020, Linda Ronstadt spoke openly about the profound difficulties she encountered as her voice was affected by a progressive condition tied to her diagnosis of progressive supranuclear palsy, a rare neurological palsy or disorder. She described how it began with a subtle yet devastating change. The higher notes in her range, once effortlessly controlled, started slipping away. This sudden inability to hit those familiar tones left her grappling with a sense of loss. Singing had always been effortless, a natural extension of herself, but now it felt like her throat was rebelling, as though it was engaging in an involuntary game of catch that would cramp and falter unexpectedly. This loss came with a kind of physiological betrayal, as her voice, which had defined decades of her life and career, gradually receded. She explained further how this condition was not just about her voice, but a fundamental shift in her connection to music and self-expression. She described her throat's clamping sensation, a sudden cramp that made each attempt to sing a stark reminder of her condition, as if her vocal cords were freezing in rebellion. The devastation of realizing her ability to perform was slipping away brought an acute sense of mourning, knowing the career and passion she lived for were being unwittingly stripped from her. For someone who had relied on her voice to conquer melodies and bring them to life, this was a deeply personal and painful reckoning. While she remained determined to find joy in other forms of music appreciation, it was evident how deeply this change affected her. Ronstadt shared that it wasn't just her voice that was being lost, but also her sonic identity, that unique signature which had earned her unparalleled acclaim. Reflecting on this, she expressed her struggles in rediscovering how to connect with music without the ability to fully express it through her own voice. It wasn't just a vocal cessation, it was an ending to a chapter that felt like losing an irreplaceable part of who she was, leaving her career and life forever changed. Although Linda Ronstadt's remarkable singing voice has been silenced due to a neurological condition, her perspective on the matter carries profound wisdom. No regrets. She has revealed that progressive supranuclear palsy, a degenerative brain condition akin to Parkinson's disease, gradually constrained her ability to sing and left her reliant on walking sticks for mobility. Yet, in all this, she remains unapologetically reflective about her life and career, choosing to focus on the gift of her enduring prominence rather than what has been lost. Linda, known as one of music's most versatile and celebrated artists, enthralled millions with her genre-defining performances covering rock, country, pop, and traditional Mexican music. Her extensive achievements, including numerous Grammys and albums that dominated the charts, stand as lasting testaments to a career that has spanned decades. Though the diagnosis forced her early retirement, there is no bitterness in her voice when speaking about her past accomplishments. Her candid reflection on losing her ability to sing reveals her emphasis on valuing the extraordinary moments she lived, rather than dwelling on their premature end. Ronstadt described the challenge of coping with her disorder, acknowledging some sadness, but stressing that she prefers to dwell on the incredible journey she enjoyed. Her transcendence of the struggle is apparent in the way she recounts her memories. Rather than see herself through the prism of limitations brought on by her condition, Linda has embraced a broader view of her life. She continues to speak with pride about her heritage, her music, and her influence in representing diverse voices in the industry. Though her voice no longer fills concert halls or recording studios, Ronstadt insists the music remains with her internally. "I sing in my imagination," she says, vividly envisioning herself still performing, as if the melody echoes in her mind, even when her vocal cords can no longer produce it. This grace in the face of personal challenges became her source of strength. Her journey serves as a reflection of human resilience and the enduring spirit that transcends the person who once soared on stage. Through all of it, Ronstadt repeatedly expresses gratitude for her long-standing career and the privilege of recording music that touched so many lives. She is candid in stating that aging and its accompanying challenges are part of life's stages, and feels few regrets about her chapters closing earlier than expected. Her life story, enriched with collaborations, accolades, and artistic breakthroughs, stands untouched by the infirmities that have removed her physical voice from the world. Even after her performances have quieted, and her public appearances have grown less frequent, Linda continues to advocate for cultural and musical legacy, particularly her contributions to preserving traditional Mexican songs. She remains a revered figure, not only for the music she created, but for her resilience and the powerful message she sends about acceptance. Her insistence on seeking peace amidst change paints a vivid picture of how one can navigate loss without losing oneself, ultimately showcasing her grace and unwavering resolve in a deeply inspiring way. After her diagnosis, Linda Ronstadt's life underwent a profound transformation. Known for her breathtaking voice and commanding presence in the world of music, she was faced with an unforeseen shift that altered her once active lifestyle. Her days of gardening, knitting, and traveling freely were replaced with limitations dictated by her condition. However, Linda found inspiring ways to channel her energy and creativity. Writing became both a solace and an avenue of exploration for her, leading her inward to revisit and document cherished moments from her remarkable life and career. Through writing, Linda reconnected deeply with the landscapes of her past, harnessing the power of memory to recreate vibrant images of days gone by. It became a source of healing and reflection, allowing her to mentally traverse the paths where her voice once soared. People who had been important to her story were brought to life again through her words, vivid characters whose presence, although physically absent, reverberated across the pages. In diving into her memories, Linda painted detailed portraits of friends, collaborators, and loved ones who had shaped her journey, bringing them back to life in her mind and chronicling their essence with careful affection. The act of recounting her history transformed into a means of preserving the magic of her past. Each sentence bridged a connection between her current reality and the times when music was her endless playground. Memories of performing on grand stages and intimate moments spent creating art grew from mere recollections to immovable fixtures in her narrative. Writing granted her a deeper understanding of her resilience and the strength she carried through life's unexpected turns. Linda's pursuit of storytelling illuminated the poignancy of loss and the endurance of human connection. The diagnosis was a force that could no longer be ignored. Yet in her creativity, she discovered avenues to maintain her identity and legacy. Each word written was a tapestry thread, stitching together her past glories, personal experiences, and emotions with clarity and grace. Despite the profound challenges posed by progressive supranuclear palsy, Linda Ronstadt has not parted from the music that shaped her identity. The Grammy-winning artist candidly discusses how her love for music thrives, even though her ability to sing has been taken by this merciless neurological disorder. Although unable to perform or produce music vocally, she reveals that melodies now play vividly in her mind, where she finds solace and joy. Music remains akin to a lifeline for her, serving as a soothing presence and an eternal source of emotional nourishment. Linda explains that, while the disease has disrupted her physical connection to music, it holds a permanent place in her inner world. Her connection to music dates back to childhood and has always been deeply personal. As she traces her emotional journey, Ronstadt emphasizes that, while her voice may have been silenced by the condition, her spirit continues to resonate with the rhythms and harmonies that define her. She describes an enduring capacity to mentally revisit compositions, reflecting the intricate ways she maintains her musical legacy despite the extraordinary challenges. Linda Ronstadt's reflections reveal a poignant, yet inspiring portrait of resilience. As a pioneer who once stood at the crossroads of rock, folk, and country, Her career carried audiences through an expansive musical landscape. Now, even in silence, music resonates with her, forming the beat of her inner life, one that illness cannot stifle. "I can't sing at all, but I still love music," she shares, affirming that what lives in her heart surpasses the constraints of her condition. Her relationship with music, though transformed, remains unyielding and deeply cherished. While she may no longer produce the enchanting tones that once captivated millions and drew massive crowds in her prime, Linda Ronstadt's legacy is firmly secured. Her remarkable career spans several decades, during which she showcased her incredible vocal talent across various genres, including rock, country, and pop. In 2014, she earned a well-deserved spot as a first ballot rock and roll Hall of Famer, a testament to her influence and contributions to the music industry. For her countless fans, she forever holds a place among the greatest vocalists. Her ability to convey emotion through her singing set her apart, making her a beloved figure in music history. Even after stepping back from performing, her impact continues to resonate, inspiring new generations of artists and listeners alike. The songs she recorded remain timeless, and her artistry is celebrated by many. Her legacy is not just in the awards she received, but in the hearts of those who cherish her music. Ever since Linda Ronstadt embraced a life of quiet reflection, her single status has become an integral part of her narrative. Now in her late 70s, she resides peacefully with a focused dedication to the things that truly matter. A mother who cherishes the companionship and love of her children, her world revolves around their happiness and well-being. Though she no longer graces the stage with her voice, her enduring connection to music continues to enrich her life in profound ways. Through the lens of her solitude, Linda sees the world with clarity, finding peace in the subtle rhythms of her surroundings and the serene moments she shares with her family. Her days are filled with the laughter and smiles of her beloved children, their presence anchoring her spirit firmly in gratitude. This soulful connection to her family brings a deep sense of fulfillment, effortlessly replacing the once feverish demands of public life. Music, although now a distant memory of active pursuit, still holds a special place in her heart. It resounds as a comforting echo of her illustrious past, reminding her of a career filled with milestones and vibrant expressions of art. Through recordings and melodies that she once sang or cherished, Linda revisits the glory of her voice and the beauty it brought to the world, allowing her solace to intermingle with fond remembrance. Her singlehood is not a void, but rather a symphony of serenity, created by the harmonious blend of familial bonds and music of the past. Linda's life stands as a testament to choosing love and authenticity over societal expectations. In dedicating her days to her children and cherishing the treasures only she knows, her contentment radiates. Without the accompanying need for companionship, she thrives in a realm of personal truth and emotional richness. Although unable to acquire additional content through web scraping, I can create a response based solely on your initial summarized context and available references. Let me provide the content accordingly. Drawing from the depth of her diverse family background and embodying the echoes of songs passed down through generations, Linda Ronstadt remains a symbol of fortitude and inspiration. Even as her voice, once soaring to astonishing heights, grew silent due to illness, the whispers of her past performances linger in the hearts of many. Her career, which traversed genres from rock to opera to folk, reflects a profound connection to the human experience, carrying stories rooted in love, longing, and resilience. Living in the quiet rhythm of her later years, surrounded by her family and a reservoir of cherished melodies, Linda continues to inspire. By embracing solitude and weaving personal moments into sources of reflection, she offers a perspective on the struggles and triumphs shared by all corners of humanity. Whether comforting herself with the familiar chords within her mind or the laughter of her children, she challenges those who remember her journey to seek solace and purpose beyond adversity. Music, for Linda, was not just an art form, but a mirror reflecting the kaleidoscope of human emotion, a medium by which she touched diverse audiences across the world. The legacy of Linda's courage and artistry persists, shaping how others view their own paths through hardship. Her determination to live authentically, despite the challenges imposed by time and health, provides a blueprint for finding inspiration when despair feels overpowering. Her journey, set against the ever-evolving landscape of music, fame, and personal authenticity, reminds us why remaining true to oneself holds the power to transform life's most ordinary and extraordinary